At this time, the fire chief has confirmed at least one fatality. Let's show you a map to give you an idea of where this happened. We're told the plane crashed into the backyard of a home on Rolling Mead Avenue.
Now, we have team coverage for you this afternoon. Both Kristen, Swilley and Jake Ryle are near the crash site. We begin with Jake. Jake, what else can you tell us?
Yeah, you know, the one thing that is important at this point in time, obviously the crash has happened. What we have heard from the fire chief is that one person has lost their life. Now the importance of all of this is making sure that the entire scene is preserved, and that is what is taking place behind us here. It doesn't look like a whole lot has happened over the past hour or so, but what they are doing is preserving the evidence so that NTSB and FAA are able to get in here and accurately go through and begin their investigation. Now, we do know this was a call for a plane down that happened right around 3:18 or so. The police and fire were able to get here about 6 minutes later. We know that this was a twin Piper down. That is the type of plane that actually hit the ground there and crashed. And when officials were able to arrive to the scene, they found that plane on fire. You were able to see heavy smoke, and that was what a lot of neighbors and residents in the area were able to see as well. We do know everyone inside of the home that lived at that home is safe and accounted for at this hour. However, we do know at least one person has died. Unsure if there are more people that could have been inside of the plane. That was not confirmed by the fire chief. We also do know that the plane was inbound to Lunken Airport. They were taking photographs of the area. So really the next step is to secure the scene left the way it is, but we do know that this investigation is going to be getting some assistance from Lunken Airport.
Ohio State Patrol has been called in. The Madeira Police Department uses the Ohio State Police for these investigations as their lead. We're receiving assistance from the Lunken Tower and from other airport authorities in the area.
So obviously it's 5 o'clock right now. There's a lot of folks en route. In fact, actually, I want to give you guys a quick look. I don't know if we're able to turn the camera over here and go all the way around. Coroner now arriving on the scene. This is the Hamilton County Coroner's office. I don't know if you're able to see with that pole there. We're going to adjust the camera here real quick. But they also do have Shawnee Run Road, that being police have Shawnee Run Road closed for the time being. Coroner's office, though, has been called to the scene. So we're going to continue to provide updates, provide more for you on WCPO.com. Guys.
All right, Jake Ryle reporting live out there for us. A viewer also sent, not on your side, this photo of the plane. Just to give you an idea, this is a twin Piper engine aircraft, as Jake mentioned. It's owned by Mark Incorporated out of Brandon, Mississippi. The plane is actually used for photo missions, which include aerial photography, geophysical surveys, aerial mapping. The fire chief did confirm that that plane was in the area to take images, and on the company's website, you know, they talk about gathering GIS and these images. It's used for mapping, like we see on the Hamilton County websites and things of that nature. So just gives you a little bit of perspective of really what they're gathering. But as we mentioned, our Kristen Swilley is also live out of the crash site.
All right, Kristen, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, well, this neighborhood obviously very busy at this moment. This area typically pretty quiet, and certainly all the neighbors and police, all the other authorities down here gathered as they keep this area behind me, of course, where the plane crash actually took place, sort of cordoned off and making sure no one is able to get too close. At this point, there is no more visible smoke. That part of things is wrapped up at this point. But we have been talking to a lot of neighbors out here, neighbors who were surprised to hear that boom go off in really what is normally a very quiet area, and that one of those neighbors came out, was able to walk down and see the plane into a portion of this home. We do know at this point now that no one was inside that home, and so everyone, at least in that regards, is okay. But we have been just hearing from different people out here. Obviously, this has not happened on a regular basis, or it has not happened in several years. So pretty much everyone within about a half-mile radius out here just kind of watching and seeing how things progress throughout the afternoon. At this point, we are being kept obviously several hundred feet back and waiting to learn a little bit more, of course, about the cause of this crash out here, as we now know more about its mission, as you all alluded to. We did speak to a neighbor who told us he was able again to walk down there, get a better look at how the crash appeared to have unfolded, and we'll have a soundbite from him coming up in a few moments here.
Almost looked like it clipped a tree in the back and it got spun and then spun into the back side of the house. But there's construction debris, 2x4s and things sticking out.
All right, so obviously a very chaotic scene down the way there. Again, much calmer up here, but still that sense of urgency as we try and urgently take a look at this investigation. The early phases, they're keeping everyone back. Don't want to get everything kind of convoluted by having more people go down there, but having a lot of people out here at the moment, and again, keeping us pretty far back. As soon as we get more information, we'll be sure to pass it along to you, both on air and on our website, WCPO.com. Reporting live in Madeira, Kristen, Swilley 9 on your side.
Kristen, before we let you go, we know lots of neighbors and neighborhood kids walking by, and perhaps they were saying just a few words to you, but just curious how they are doing. I mean, this is not something that happens very often, to have a plane crash into your neighbor's home.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's jarring for the kids and the adults out here, frankly. We talk over and over again about how just incredibly quiet of an area this is, and I think people are just sort of in shock. I think it's a big relief to know that neighbors inside that home were not hurt, as we're hearing now. But it's still it's shocking, and everyone's been going down there trying to take pictures or just trying to call around and making sure that everyone's okay. Because when you hear plane crash in a neighborhood and you know someone in this neighborhood, you're trying to check and make sure that people are okay. But overall, the mood doesn't seem to be too frantic. It's just people are just completely in shock that a plane flew into a residential neighborhood and crashed.
And we've actually been listening in the background of your live shot, Kristen. You can hear other aircraft. I've been monitoring actually on a special app I have. 2 Cessna aircraft have just flown by during your live shot. You could hear them. So immediately now, having a crash in your neighborhood, those neighbors are going to be looking up at every plane, I think, for quite some time.
Yeah, no, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Kristen Swilley standing by live for us. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was one of the things that neighbors say they really like about living in this area, is kind of being in this flight path for Lunken and hearing the planes go overhead, but certainly going to have a different tone and feel after this happens.